Okay, so here we are out in my parking lot. I'm going to be working with my bike here. I'm going to be taking the exhaust off and replacing the exhaust gaskets. Now, I don't really know how long it's going to take because every time I do something, it always takes longer than it should. Hey man, get out of here. Now, I'm not a fucking film person, so I don't really know if these shots are going to look good, but, you know, I'm sure I'll be able to cut it together alright. First things first, gloves. Nothing's worse than a guy with dirty hands. The ladies will love you better. Or the guys, either one. So since I already have the bracket for this rear pipe off, I'm just going to take out the two nuts that hold it to the cylinder head, I guess you could say, or the block. On a car you'd call it a block. I don't really know the terminology for a motorcycle. Cylinder? I guess. Now I did actually replace all the nuts on this just for fun because they were rusty and I don't really like rust all that much, even though my truck's full of it. So once you have those two nuts removed from that, this will just come right off. Now I'm not even gonna take this pipe off because I can just get at it like this. And what you're gonna want to do, well, here. I'll get a better close-up shot for you. Okay, so here we have the exhaust port of your cylinder. Now around that is the exhaust gasket, which is this piece, which is probably very damaged on mine because this bad boy sort of lost its hardware, and for a long time it was just, you know, floating around like this, you know, moving up and down and whatever the fuck. So, you know, shoddy work done by me. That's my fault, but whatever. So I'm basically gonna be taking a pick and I'm gonna be prying in there and I'm gonna try and take it out. If you're ever taking out your exhaust gasket, it's most likely gonna destroy it. So if you're taking it out, replace it right there. Don't try to, like, you know, I'm gonna take it out and then fucking put it right back in, right? Because you're not, because it's gonna, like, literally just shred as soon as you try to take it out in any other way possible than just wishing it was out. So just quick tip. There we go. So basically after I took that out, or shredded it up pretty nice with my pick, I basically took a pair of needle nose pliers and I just grabbed onto it. Now this is what it's gonna look like after you're done if you're like me and just shred it apart. But you know, I'll show you the new one here. Now of course your new one's gonna look like this, perfect circle or whatever. I got mine off of J&P Cycles. That's just, you know, the first parts website that came up when I googled it. So here we've got this gasket installed all the way except for this part here, which I'm not proud of, but you know, this one gave me some trouble. It's getting dark out here, so I might install the front one tomorrow, but you guys won't notice. It'll only be a few seconds. But yeah, so this is what it's supposed to look like installed, except you don't want all this frayed stuff on the outer edge because, you know, it's sloppy, it looks kind of shitty, but still it'll get the job done as long as this interior bits are not like misshapen or like frayed, because that's of course where the exhaust flows and that's where it seals up with the pipe. Other than that, I'm just gonna get this other pipe back on. As you can see, I actually took the O2 sensor out of its connector and took the whole pipe off because I needed a little extra room, but you know, it's not that hard to do. You can do it yourself if you got a couple hand tools and a big old brain like me. Like me. Just like me. Okay, so before you put anything back together on your Harley, you always want to use Loctite. Now I use blue Loctite because red Loctite is for things that are never going to come off. So blue Loctite just makes sure that as your Harley's going down the road and it's vibrating the shit out of all those nuts and bolts, that those nuts and bolts will stay on there no matter what. Now I've had this happen because I've been in a pinch and I haven't had any on me, and that's what caused part of the hardware on this back or this rear pipe to come off, which I'm replacing now. So, you know, word to the wise, use Loctite no matter what. Go buy some. Stop what you're doing. Buy like a bunch. There we go. Put it there. Those lined up. I don't recommend installing bolts by hand with an extension and a socket, but sometimes you just can't get your hands in there. You gotta fucking resort to the last resorts, you know? Always keep a magnet handy too. And also, I know I'm really close, but to get a good view of what I'm doing with the bike, it's the only way possible. Okay. So you in there, go like this. Okay, so I've got that hand tightened with this socket just because I don't want this thing falling off. I'm trying to get the bottom one on because the bottom one's a little trickier to get just by, not by hand, but just in general, because, you know, it's the bottom one. I'm gonna break a rule, taking a glove off to have more work, more texture on my fingers. Feeling around. Now, I'm sure there's an easier way to do this with the mounting hardware on, but I don't want to do that because that's way too easy. And everything I have to do is always got to be a struggle, or else it's not real. Okay, so with those two on, I'm gonna try and tighten the bottom one first. This also not recommended because I'm literally just hammering this nut on, but I'm tired, the camera's gonna die, so we will, you know, try and figure it out. And if it fucks me, it fucks me. Now with these nuts, because it's sitting on like I can't think of the word, but it's a ring, so you want to sort of alternate back and forth is what I've found is the best option, so it doesn't, like, you know, tighten one side down, you know, star pen type shit, you know? Now with those two on, I'm going to take this new mounting hardware and try to work behind here, which could be a bitch, and replace the mounting hardware so this pipe doesn't move around a lot, causing my gaskets to get fucked. Okay, so my camera died, so I'm just going to basically be doing this off my iPhone now. It could be better quality, could be better audio, but that's just an explanation of what's going on. So I'm going to try and put this in there. God, I am horrible with angles, so, like, don't hate on me. Also, I'm horrible with looking at the screen and not the camera. Like, you'll see my eyes over here, even though the camera's over there. But we're going to try and figure this out. Ooh. So this bracket slips inside here, and then you take two bolts and you screw them through this bracket that they give you that replaces the stock mounting bracket. And yeah, that's what I'm about to do right now. With ease. With fucking ease, man. It's gonna be so easy, dude. Can't even put it in right. Don't tell my girlfriend. And now, again, what I said, I'm gonna put Loctite on these bad boys because last time didn't, and I suck. Now I'm just hand tightening that one so I can get this one in there because that's common knowledge. Don't be an idiot like I am and just throw everything together with an electric ratchet. So right now I'm just trying to work this bolt into the bracket, but it's right up next to the rear brake master cylinder, so I'm just trying to get it in there without fucking anything up. Try to maneuver the pipe around so the bracket fits better. There we go. There we go. So good. I'm so good. I'm so good at this. So basically what I was talking about is that this bolt right here that I have my finger on is gonna hit this if you don't have your pipe in the right place, or the bracket, I guess you could say. So if you need to, just manipulate this, because you have some play with that up there. Not too much play, so watch out. Actually, I have my phone sitting on my bike right now, right in there where it belongs. Now I do believe, yup. Now the bolts, so the two nuts on the cylinder here are 13s or 1/2 inch if you use standard, but who uses that except for every Harley? Other than that, so are the bracket bolts down here for the Advanced 9 short shots. They're just a 13 or, 1/2 inch, but I use metric, so I'm a little off, but not too much off. Gotta remember, shit's backwards when you're facing the opposite way. So I think I've decided that I'm gonna do this front pipe tomorrow, and I have more lighting, and I can use both my cameras, because I just had an idea. There's some nice, get some nice shots to get my pretty mug in here, and just, get my pretty bike. So basically right now what I'm doing is I'm just tightening these bad boys up, and now you don't have to over torque them, because they're just bracket bolts and they're just here so that you and your pipe don't go flying off into the sunset. So yeah, there we go. That's the rear pipe for Advanced 9 short shots on a Sportster and an exhaust gasket. So like I said, I'm gonna actually do the front pipe tomorrow, because I'm running out of daylight. I ran out of camera battery. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pack up and I'll come out here tomorrow, which you guys won't even have to wait. That's how filming works. So, see you guys out here tomorrow when it's brighter and I am wearing a different shirt, maybe even different pants.
The next day.
All right, so here we are, day 2, because the camera ran out of battery and the lighting was kind of getting shit, and I know that I didn't really do a good job of like showing you guys how to take the pipes off or whatever, but I'm gonna try and get a few better angles for this one, because this one's the, I guess, harder one to do, you could say. It's the front pipe. You have to work around the frame and, to get at the 2 nuts, and then again, like on the last one, it's just 2 bolts on the bottom, 2 nuts on the cylinder, and that's all it really is to it, to take off those pipes. And then I'll try and get a little better close-up shots for when I'm taking the gasket out. And a trick I read online, because I had that trouble getting that last one in last night, I just put the gasket in the freezer overnight, so that should shrink it to the point where it might just fit into the, its port a little better. But other than that, let's get to this. So on the bottom here, near the tail end of the pipe, there's just 2 bolts that I had to take off, and they're not as hard to get to as the top one, because the brake master cylinder's not in the way. Like I said yesterday, clean hands, bro. It's nothing like it. We got 1 out. That's number 2. So I'm just gonna I threaded 1 bolt back in there just because I realized it's kind of a pain in the ass to hold this thing up and get those 2 front nuts off. In hindsight, I should have done that first, but that's just me being an idiot. If y'all ever get the chance to pick up some magnetic sockets, deep or short well, which I bought these off my buddy because he bought a set and he already had some, do it, because they're so handy. Now, this one's kind of a bitch to get at, so I'm gonna try and use bottom. Again, everything on this shit's always got to be complicated. I got the frame rail here. I got to get at this lower nut here, which is kind of hard to see, but if you zoom, it's kind of right down here. this area. Okay. So, breaking out the old trusty dusty Milwaukee fuel. There you go. Flip base. Now once these are undone, I'm going to go around the other side and unplug that O2 sensor. What damage that? There you go. And number 2's off. So that's those 2 front ones. I'm gonna go around the other side and unplug the O2 sensor. I don't even know if I have to go around the other side. I think it's just right here. Yeah, it's just right here. So I don't even have to go around the other side. I can just reach with my arms around the front of the frame, take that off, unbolt this back here that I had hanging it up with. Now here we have the front pipe off the bike. It's sitting over there. I should have brought a blanket to lay it down on, but this'll do. But, you know, again, you got your old gasket. This one's fucked. I'll get a better up close shot for you here. Excuse the shaky hands. But you can see right down here at the bottom, it's all frayed and shit. This is all gone to fuck. That's from those 2 nuts vibrating off because I neglected to put Loctite on them like an idiot. I'm just gonna reach in here like yesterday, sort of just scrape around, get some off, try to get behind it, rip it up, shred it up, you know. Do your best, try to destroy everything in your path because you're a badass, and that's how things work when you're a badass. Go at it from different sides, try to get your pick in there, and then let's see if I grab this, see how that does. There we go. And there's our old gasket. It's looking pretty clean in there, it's not too dirty. Fucking hot out here today, boys. So here I have the new gasket. It was sitting in the fridge. Okay, sitting in the freezer overnight. We're just gonna take it out, and I'm actually gonna use a little mini jar of jam lid to push it in equally. If you don't have like the same size thing, I've heard like bearing tools can push these in pretty well, but you just want to find something that's like the exact same size as it and line it up and sort of just push it in. Hopefully it just goes in easy for me this time and not hard like the last time, but you know, you never fucking know. Can't ever be sure with this shit. I am not a professional, by the way. I've never been trained by Harley to do this. I've seen like one YouTube video on how to do this, and I did it last night. That's my experience with this shit. I'm gonna get this out of the way so I can get a little closer. Okay, so I got her in, but we ran into the issue where it bunches up a little bit. Here at the bottom here, it's a little frayed on the outside of the edge, but here on the inside, it's okay-ish. I'm not happy with my job here, so if I tighten it back up and it's still leaking or there's something off, I'm gonna just go to the Harley dealer down the street and grab a new one. So I'll zoom in for you. You can see my mistakes, and that's what I'm here for. So you can see sort of how it's flush up here, and then it sort of gets shittier around here. It's flush for like 3/4 of the way, and then right here kind of bunched up on me. Now all this is doing is providing a sealing surface for the male end of the pipe to go into this hole. So if it seals okay and it's, you know, not harming anything, I would just leave it, you know. So what did we learn here today? Replacing gaskets on these is probably not the hardest thing to do, but if you fuck it up, it fucks up real fast. But I'm gonna put this all back together and see how it looks, see how it feels, see if anything's wrong, see if anything's leaking. But I'm fairly certain that it should seal just fine. It is exhaust, so, you know, it'll be fine. I think, I do believe. It's a shitty job, which I don't like leaving, but I'm kind of pressed because I gotta leave back to Michigan here soon. And that's a day's drive. So I just wanted to get this done and this video filmed for you guys so I can edit it over the next few days and, you know, get it out. If I do end up replacing it again, I'm just gonna refilm this whole segment and y'all would never know that I fucked it up. But if it all goes back together okay and it doesn't leak and it sounds great to me, fuck it, dude. It's just a bike. You know, I try to take the best care of all of my vehicles, but, you know, sometimes jobs just go a little shitty, and that's okay. Life's full of imperfections. But, yeah, I'm gonna tighten this back up. Okay. So we got both new gaskets in there. Not the best job. The title of this video is probably gonna be how not to install exhaust gaskets on a Sportster, but just basic premise is there. So I'm gonna go get the keys and then we're gonna fire this thing up and see how it sounds. But first I gotta pack some shit up so people don't steal. And there you have it. Those are exhaust gaskets. They definitely sound better. I definitely probably had a leak out of that front one there before I did it, but I'm not an expert or trained. But, you know, I got a big brain and some tools. That's how I'd describe myself. Other than that, it sounds great now. I noticed when I got back to the apartment that I had a circle on my face. I don't know how the fuck that got there. Hopefully it wasn't on there on camera. Other than that, I think that was a great, easy install. I got real sweaty though. It's hot out here. Remember, wear sunscreen, drink plenty of water, and I'll see you in the next one.